It's definitely a bit of a, a bit of a nerve-wracking experience, especially for your first time. So yeah, well done on putting yourself out there and getting into it. I think we actually got the most, it's not really something I care about at all, but I think we've got the most people in WA signed up, so that's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's super cool. And I'm just sort of going to cover a few little housekeeping things. A few of you might have seen like if you haven't done it before, the open close sort of like update that goes on. So if you can email me or your captain, probably me, because then we don't have to go through the channel and the captain might want to withhold it. Just like anything funny you hear, like a funny story or something embarrassing, just send it through to me so we've got some good content, okay? Otherwise I'll just have to make stuff up, so I'll do that anyway, but yeah, it's good to have some stuff with some truth in there. So yes, anything, even if you just quickly see or hear something, flick it through to me so I don't forget. This is probably a big one, like one that I say like every time. Don't place your self-worth or any sort of, it's good to be happy, but how good you are as a person or, anything to do with that has nothing to do with a score in a random workout chosen by random people doing some strange movements, okay? Like, if you go, well, sweet, enjoy it. If it doesn't, it gives you something to work on, but it's just a workout and like, don't, it's just another workout. I know like we sort of get hyped up and you do probably put a bit more energy into it or whatever, and that's cool, but don't put your self-worth around this workout, okay? It's just a workout. So did anyone watch like either the guys or the girls do the workout video online? Yeah. Cool. Either way, ignore it, okay? So it's cool to watch, but like I'm sort of already hearing some like, oh yeah, I'm thinking like 10 or whatever, like, yeah, like you'll have a chance in your warm-up or whatever to... Marshall will get 10. He will get 10 as a 55. No, but like, every time people watch that, and probably me included, and you get a lot worse. So by no way, maybe half or whatever, like, that's like watching an elite golfer or elite tennis player. Just forget about what they're doing, because for 99% of us, that just doesn't matter, okay? So it's cool to watch, it's cool to get some ideas, but ignore their actual score. This like happens every week, and there's always heartbreak, and like people ask me to email CrossFit HQ, and I'm saying I'm not even gonna bother. Put your score in straight away. So as soon as you're done with the workout today, there's an app you can use, or you can just log onto the website. As soon as you're done tonight, check the scorecard is filled out correctly and log it straight away. If you do it again on Monday, or the phone coverage cuts out in WA for 3 days, then all good, you've got it done, it's logged, okay? You can always take it out and put it back in. That's easy to do. I usually don't, and if you really don't want me to approve it till later or whatever, you've got some weird stuff going on about your score, it's probably for you to sort of work through those issues with someone, but also, get it in there, okay? Because every time, oh, I missed it, because it's gonna be midnight Monday too, so make sure Monday night at the absolute latest, but just get it in, please. You can take it out later and change it if you need to, okay? And also the scorecards. A lot of people are like, oh, my judge filled out my scorecard wrong, can you call them up or, get rid of them or whatever. It's like, no, that's your fault because you didn't check. Like, familiarize yourself with the scorecard. They're inside up against the whiteboard. Look at what needs to be filled out and look at what you need to fill out. There's bits you need to sign, there's reps you need to write out. It's the judges, but it's more importantly the person who it's their score. You've got to sort that out, okay? So I know it will happen, and that's okay. Don't be afraid to message me if the score's not on there, but it's your responsibility to check that out, okay? Standards, we'll go through the standards now. Ask any questions. Obviously, if you aren't sure about the standards, there is a standards video. It's written here as well. You can check it out later. So yeah, and just like follow the standards. Don't try and hide some secret trick from us and then like, oh, I'm gonna pull out my secret weapon or whatever. because we're probably just going to get no reps. Right, let's just do it the right way, like we always want to do things. Just do it well, move well. So we did pretty well. Like we had almost everyone register for the heat. So if you're going to be here this week and next week, just chuck your name down on that heat list that's already there. So I can put you in the heat list. A few people that missed out, I think they've had their heat sorted out with Nate, so that's all good. But we've got certain lanes, okay? So it's like lane 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's no spot on the wall that's allocated to a lane. So if I think if you're really planning on going on fast, that side is probably going to have a slightly less of a transition. So maybe you could go there if you want to, but it's going to be minimal either way. You've got that side over there too. You can go any spot on the wall that you want to. So I don't care what area you go, but what I do care is whoever's in your lane and meant to be judging you, that's the person judging. That way we know who's not here and we can find that straight away, okay? And did everyone's captain got through them in about the 2 different sections? Do I need to explain that huge text again? How we'll have the first half of people are going to be going 1, 2, 3. Other group will stay outside and then we'll switch it over. Does that make sense? That's all good? Sweet, okay. So that was a long message. I don't want to have to put you through that again. Yep, scorecard. Make sure we're familiar with it. No, and the sign-up sheet. Sweet. Okay, I think that's all the logistical sort of stuff out of the way. So the workout, if you haven't seen it, 15-minute AMRAP. It's a really good first week workout, I reckon. It's pretty simple. It's movements that we do all the time. So yeah, if you just haven't been in very much, if you haven't done one of these movements in the last couple of months, we've done them probably 4 or 5 times each at least. But 15-minute AMRAP, 3 wall walks, 12 alternating dumbbell snatches, and a new movement, 15 box jump overs, but we do it a lot. It's a really good and simple. So it's a very simple, there's nothing super technical in terms of standards, which is good for people maybe like judging or doing it the first time. But just make sure like you've got your captain, you got me, the judge you may have, but yeah, I'd much rather like ask the questions now. And well, Kimmy's not here, but usually she's the one asking dumb questions. But so yeah, don't. So yeah, that's all right. Don't worry about dumb questions, okay? Stuff. Yeah, no silly questions. All right, so 15-minute AMRAP. So we're starting off with 12 wall walks, okay? So I've set a few ones up here, and for the people waiting outside, you can buy 3 wall walks.
I had a panic attack.
Wasey, did you check that scaled standard?
The scaled is from one side of the line to the other side of the line back to it. That's the 55.
Okay. Alright, good. So we've got this all taped out on the inside, so super easy to do. So we'll start flat on the, actually no, we'll start up in the air. You've got to start with your feet, before the clock goes, you've got to start with your feet behind the line. 3, 2, 1, go. We go down onto the ground, your hands must touch the line. So female standard is the first line, male standard is the second line. Same thing, aren't they? Yeah, well yeah. Fingers, anything connected to your hand. Fingers only needs to be a millimeter on each side. So that's a good one. I shouldn't be smart, sorry. I got too excited. So open time, making people feel bad about questions a minute after I said, just ask questions. So fingers touching the line. We'll talk about efficiency in a second, but we're just going to cover the actual standards. So fingers on the line. Your feet must be both on the wall until your fingers can move. So she's up off the wall, off the ground, sorry. Her hands can move. Once again, any part of your hand or fingers just needs to touch the line. You don't need to hang out there for long. Once they both touch, get back out. Hands touch again and then down. So your feet can't touch the ground until both your fingers or hands, any part of that, full hand finger operation touches the line again, okay? So we'll see that one more time. Oh, sorry?
What about your chest? Is your chest allowed to hit the ground before your feet? Chest bump the ground.
No, I don't think so. Nothing.
That's the way they end up, just a belly flop.
You need your fingers on the line before your body comes up.
Yeah. So once again, hands are on, or fingers on the line, some part of the line, feet off the ground first, then you go, hustle, 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 both hands touch the line, go back, and once the hands touch the line, then you can just flop or fall or whatever you want back down, okay? Any questions on just purely what we have to do for it to count as rep? If your feet touch the ground before your hands touch the line, that is a no rep. If your hands move before both feet are off the ground, that's a no rep. So yeah, this is a no rep. So hand moved and not both feet went on the ground, no rep, okay? If she's coming back in, one hand, she did sort of do it, but if you flop and fall on the ground. So, you know, if you've been doing these regularly, you'll sort of know maybe your capacity with them, but my advice would be both this and within the workout, go slower than what you think. Make sure of these, okay? Like you don't want to have to sort of waste them, okay? If you're feeling cooked, give yourself a bit more time, get them. Now to make this a bit more efficient, hands on the line. First thing you want to do is really push your your hips up high. So hips will go really high. Push your head through, look at the wall, open that angle as much as you can. Then your feet walk up the wall, and then you take a couple of steps in, get to that position. Don't mess around, walk, and then back down. On the way down, she stayed pretty straight or had her butt sort of elevated. If you just let your hips sag, that'll load up your back. It's a lot of work on your core. A lot of sort of work on your shoulders too. So still on the way down, try to at least keep straight or keep your hips up, okay? So, you know, we've got some out here when you'll be given 15 minutes to warm up. So there'll be a few spots on the left-hand side, some boxes too. Practice and try to figure out how many steps you can take. It's like anything, it wants to be deliberate. So I take 5 steps in and 5 steps out or whatever. Trying to get a bit of a pattern going on, okay? So I think that's, anyone else standards for the wall?
Just do the scaled.
Oh, scaled, okay, so modification. So it's going to be, so the closer line you said, hey, wait, or the same line?
The female line.
Yep,
Hands in front of the female line.
So that second line, you must now be over the line. So if you're doing the scaled option, no part of your hands can touch the line. So she needs to get over a bit more, like this way. Like this way.
Yeah.
Yep, cool. So she's over the line now, feet on the wall. You go past the line completely, so her fingers are now past this edge of the line. Then her hands go back over the line again, completely over, and then down. That's the rep, okay? That's the modified one, okay? So, anyone want to see that again, or are we good? Good? Awesome, okay. I think that's pretty much it. All right, we'll come over to the next movement. Dumbbell snatch. We'll get a dumbbell. Okay, so next movement, dumbbell snatch. We do this all the time, same standard as that we do every time, which will make it easy. All right, the dumbbell begins with both heads of the dumbbell on the ground. Now, this is something that people can tend to do. I know, like I can sort of creep in. The non-using hand cannot touch your body or legs. So a lot of time it's easier to like push it out to the side, because if you push off, that is a no rep. Okay, so starts from the ground, pick it up, open our hips. Dumbbell is over the top of the foot, knees, hips, shoulders locked out. Just make sure you actually finish that lockout. You know, if you need technical help, we can maybe go through with your partner. But yeah, with your captain, but we're not going to cover that too much because we do this so often. Then you can either change hands on the way down, touch and go, or you can down and then you go the other side and change over. So you must alternate. If on like one side, say you don't lock it out or it's not over the top and you put it down, and your judge says no rep, you must do that side again before you go. But you know, this is something we do a fair bit. Hopefully we're pretty set with that. The real main differences with this is like if do that muscle snatch version that Liz did there, when she opens her hips, there's no re-dip and pull. I think with the box jumps, it's probably going to be not a bad option if you do like this little re-dip version, like your typical power snatch. It's like a little bit more of a leg sort of pump where you're going to have to do a little mini squat again. So I think that's going to be fatiguing. It is a little bit slower. But you know, if there's a method that you always do, like I think everyone here should have done this movement quite a few times. So the one that you normally do, I would just stick with that. Hand can't touch the leg. I don't know, coaches or anyone, does anyone think of another standard I have missed there? Both heads touch and go. You can't, I don't know, I've never really seen anyone do this effectively. You can't bounce it off the ground, like sort of let it down and bounce. I feel that would be harder to do. Alright, so then we've got our box jump over, and modified is just the same movement but lighter, okay? So that's on the scorecards up there. I believe it's a 15 kilo for guys, 10 kilo for females.
Yep.
Alright, so then we've got our box jump over.
Watch your head.
So,
Liz.
yeah. Nah, who cares? You hit it. Alright, so, same once again, same as we always do this, 20-inch for girls, 24 for guys. So it's a 2-footed takeoff. Both feet must leave the ground at the same time. Oh, come back on the box. So both feet leave the ground at the same time. Both feet get on the box at some point, and then you have to step down. So you must step down, and then you're good to go. So jump on, both feet are on, step down, then we're good to go. So the other option, which no one should be doing, she doesn't have to demo, is jump all the way over. That's the other one you should be doing. But yeah, no, I'll give you $100 if you do that the whole way. Do it. That's on video. So I reckon it's quicker, but yeah, I'll give you $100 if you do that. So very simple standard. You know, we do, once again, we've gone through this so many times for ages. The best way to sort of do this is that little pivot and little toe tap that we cover a bit. So jump on, stay low, pivot, 1 foot, just a little touch on the ground, and then go again. These are just about sort of keeping them moving efficiently, okay? Just try to keep chipping away. With that little pivot, if you pick something that you always twist towards, it sort of makes life a little bit easier. In terms of this actual workout, like we spoke about before, about pacing and what you should be expecting. You know, there's a little warm-up round that you're going to have a go at to sort of test it out. But just, this workout is about just steady movement, okay? Like trying to move steady. If you feel like it's getting frantic, stop and recover, but just trying to find steady. You know, all these movements are sort of quite cyclical. You shouldn't sort of feel like you're redlining. Just want to keep consistently. Your rounds will slow down a little bit, but just trying to pick something that you can maintain relatively well from the start and sort of keep that going. We do every week, we'll have a set warm-up on there that, you know, if you don't want to follow it all, you don't have to, but it's a good little way to sort of prep there. So this first little section is super easy, just getting that heart rate going, just getting the sort of energy system primed for moving for a long time. Spike that heart rate a little bit early, so 4-minute easy echo, like talking pace, 3-minute easy row, 2-minute easy ski. And then we're going to have 2 rounds, 10-meter overhead carry on each arm, 20 calf pumps, 5 inchworm to push up and sort of get those hammies. Oh God, this shirt's no good. And then just like push that head through and sort of get that stretch like we're going to need for the wall walk. PVC, 10 pass-throughs, 10 lateral hops just to get that jumping going, get rid of that landing, and then 10 alternating mountain climbers just to open the hips. 2 rounds through that won't be too long. And then, you know, you can do all this stuff out here if you want, if you're in that second group or even the first one, you're gonna have 15 minutes to get through. Then what I want you to do is a practice round at about 80% of the pace you're expecting to go for 15 minutes. So do a full round, do 3 wall walks, 12 dumbbell snatch, 15 box. You know, you could just use that part of the wall. Then there's some boxes out there, put a dumbbell. Do a round. How do you feel? Do you feel like, yep, I could keep doing that for 15 minutes? Or if you're, I'm super out of breath, I'm cooked, you may have to adjust your plan a bit, okay? So, yeah, that should be pretty much it. Crew, do we have any? And another thing, like if you know, like, because people are asking for an early heat, like on the thing, if you're asking for an early heat, obviously you got sent out about 10 o'clock today, and you're in the first heat, I would advise doing a bit the warm-ups here ready from the weeks on. Get in here and start warming up because we're not, you know, it's going to be about 10 minutes from now till we start. So, literally going to be 10 minutes till we start. So, if you want the early heat, make sure you get in and get yourself organised. But, do we have any other questions, crew? Sweet, alright, so 10 minutes till that first heat. Yeah, we'll be underway soon.